rolling! Yeah! All night long.
What's good, y'all? Making the Walk podcast, episode 18, I think. 18? I don't know. I lose track on these things. I think it's 18. So, you are back from the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, from your excursion. How are you doing?
Good. I think maybe the opposite of that, right? I'm pretty tired, but it was really fun and I learned a lot. So good stuff.
Yeah, that's what's up. So episode 18 or 17. See how I'm making the episodes go up? I just said episode 18 instead of 17. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's 17.
I thought you said 18 just now, so.
Did I say? It's one of those two, but I'm pretty sure it's 17. So yeah, we'll talk about UFC 293, some UFC news. We'll reflect on UFC Paris, Cyril Gane getting it done. But first, I know there's some stuff that you saw out there on the interwebs. What did you see out there?
I think my favorite thing I saw was that Paul Felder enters the USADA testing pool. And somebody brought up, Shavkat. And, Paul Felder was like, no, thank you.
That is the appropriate response because, first of all,
I think he might have a better response, like visually. What do you think his response would have been visually?
You'd see the little mustache and he would have been, no, thank you. That's exactly what he would have done.
No, you had a different response. It was good. It was good. Probably something similar to Dan Hardy when he's, describing Sean Strickland's.
We had to take that back.
Yeah,
we had to take it back. Well, Sean does this thing. That's his defensive prowess. That's his guard. And sometimes it should be working. But
what'd you say?
I don't know about this time.
Girl, get away from me.
Yeah, that's exactly. Girl, stop it. If you don't get your ass, that's exactly what it is.
That's good. That's good.
We saw the technique though. It was excellent technique by Dan Hardy.
By Dan Hardy.
Excellent.
Oh man, we love you, Dan. We love you.
Yeah,
that shit was funny though.
Dope as shit. Paul going back into the USADA testing pool. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's cool because his last fight was against RDA on short notice. RDA wrestled the shit out of him, and he wasn't able to really get going. But that wasn't really necessarily Paul being bad. It was really RDA being good, and it's at a weight class that's higher than his normal one. That was at 170. He fights at 155. So I think that he would be an interesting fight if he's up to it. But he's got a hip injury right now. So if he were to come back, it wouldn't be for a while. So, but
yes,
he did what Connor was supposed to do, is jump in the USADA testing pool when you thought about coming back.
Woo. The hate is strong. It's still early. It's still AM.
I mean, it's not. I mean, shouts out to the notorious HGH, but like, I think that he spoke before he was ready to do, and now he's got himself in a situation where if he didn't say anything, then he could have just sat back and chilled and waited until he was ready, and everybody would have been happy. But like now, we've had this whole build up to nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people are starting to get irritated.
Something's happened. Yeah. Something's definitely happening, where maybe he's kind of wavering in and out of his decision to come back. Otherwise, he wouldn't have started this big production with the Netflix special and all the appearances he's making, he knows he's going to get asked about that. So something's definitely going on there.
Absolutely.
But we wish him the best and look forward to seeing him back in the octagon. Okay.
Hopefully one in 2024 for sure.
No, 23. So next I found, this was a good little find, but Bam Bam just started his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, cinematically, it's like super gorgeous. I like, getting that insight and kind of getting to learn like who they are and kind of what they do and whatnot. But I don't know what he's saying. I need some subtitles. I had no idea what he was saying.
I turned on the subtitles and the subtitles were confused.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty similar to Paddy Pimblett, and I was wondering which one is worse. Maybe worse is not the word, right? But which one is more difficult to understand?
Yeah,
because I don't.
Yeah, from our American English, it's different. I mean, I think everybody has different dialects in every different area or whatnot. But it's almost like watching Top Boy. You remember watching, like, I tried to watch it and it just didn't work out. And it's because like their slang, the way that they enunciate certain things and run things together is just like, I don't know what the fuck you just said. And that is exactly what was going on here, where he's saying things and, over there they could, pick that up easily. But over here we're like, I'm going to need you to really say that shit. Like, first understand.
Yeah, that shit was
but
hard to.
I do agree that from the actual shots that they get, especially outside, Australia is just a beautiful place. So they get some really good shots, but I think as they go along, they've only got like 2 episodes on that thing. So
it does also help you kind of immerse yourself in their culture too.
Yeah.
So it gives you insight into what the fighter's thinking, how they're feeling as they build up to the event. So I really enjoy these new YouTube channels coming from active fighters for sure.
For sure. Absolutely.
So, I mean, and that's kind of the same thing for Izzy's channel. So I think he releases his own version of Embedded, which is actually really, really good. But I think a lot of what I wanted to chat about can probably be talked about next, actually. During the 293 stuff we want to get into.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can get into it now if you want to.
Cool.
So Izzy is taking that show back home, fighting Sean Strickland back at the crib.
You said home? Back home?
I mean, he's in Australia
home?
most of the time.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's in Australia majority of the time. I know that he has Nigerian on everything as far as like UFC related, but
in all seriousness, it really is all Nigerian. Like all the stuff you hear everywhere else. It's funny, but to Australia for sure, like that's home.
Yeah, that's home.
Okay,
that's home.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure. Which is, him training CKB, which is based in Australia. So like that's the crib for him. But now he's fighting back in Australia, headlining the card with a lot of fellow CKB fighters against Sean Strickland. Sean just he almost kind of fell into this title fight.
Right place, right time.
Yeah, I mean, with the right performance, he's coming off a finish himself against Abis. I can't remember his last name, and he just walked right through that dude. But do you think that he got a shot? Do you think that Sean Strickland can beat the top UFC fighter from outside of Conor? Current fighter on the roster. Do you think that he can do that? Now, remember, before you say it, I want you to remember that's the defense. You gotta remember that defense.
Let me look at you.
Oh, you missed it. I mean, you hit it. Defense is how you got to do it. So you got to remember that defense. So.
Yeah.
Do you think that Sean can do it?
I think he's going to catch a lot of those, kickboxing experience that is going to be thrown his way. That defense is going to be perfect. Or maybe it won't be perfect, but it's be good. So we'll see. But does he have a chance? Everyone has a chance, right? Like they're all professional fighters. So yeah, he's got, I think, knockout power. Does he care enough? I don't know. I can't see that yet. Does that make sense? Like mentally, has he put himself in the space where he understands I was given this opportunity and Dana did not want to give me this opportunity? Because, well, I don't really know how else to put it, but everyone else is saying it, but they don't want him to embarrass the UFC with his personal views.
Yeah. He is the very definition of a loose cannon. Absolutely loose.
Go. Yeah.
Loose as hell.
So
yeah.
That's exactly it. So because he's such a loose cannon, does he understand, I can't tell. Like, this is a really good opportunity for me. Don't fuck it up. And go out there and do what he can. Because, on paper, as Anthony would say, it's not looking good.
So I think that, obviously, like you said, he has a chance. It's not likely. I think that his best bet is if Izzy doesn't take him seriously.
Which is not the case.
No, it is not. Because as you pointed out, from looking at his series that he has going on as far as preparing for 293, he in the gym. That boy working. He's not taking him lightly at all.
He's really he's plugged in right now, like to himself, connected to himself. Like it's not just like in the gym workout. Like his team is out like hiking. They're swimming in the ocean. Now this one was interesting, but they're doing like sound baths. But that might just be indicative of like his age and just like really, really wanting to. That's more of a meditation thing.
What the hell is the sound bath?
Ooh, fun. Okay. So I'm assuming it's called a sound bath. So now you kind of put me in a weird spot. But they're laying in the pool, kind of like Atlanta. Do you remember when Lakeith Stanford's character was inside of that like dark little fucking hole in the wall? I don't know what it's called. And he was in the water and he just kind of laid there. Yeah, that's pretty similar to what Izzy was doing in a pool, but they had like sounds playing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's pretty dope. That was on the series. I do vaguely remember that. I just didn't know that that's what it was. Some sort of meditation though, like you said.
Hey, man, I could be wrong. He could have been playing, he could have been playing something totally different, something real ratchet. And I'm over here thinking, oh, he's serenading himself with the sounds of some weird Hertz or some shit. Yeah. But he really just in general.
Yeah, we're listening to Doja Cat.
You better not be listening to no Doja Cat. But what I did see. Okay, so yes, mentally he's really trying to connect with himself. He's giving real Muhammad Ali vibes for sure. He's very like studious and careful about his responses, very like thought-provoking responses. So he's really big about time and the moment that he's in. And one thing I mentioned to you was, I think, okay, if he loses this fight, I would imagine him coming back for, immediate rematch, taking the belt, and then hanging him up. Like being good. Maybe he understands, this is probably around the time that I should start wrapping things up. He's got a lot going on.
He does. So I think that this is another situation, just like we talked about with Dustin Poirier last week. It's just really understanding what his goals are. Like, I don't know what his goals are. I think that Izzy still has a goal of going up to light heavyweight and grabbing that belt. I think that's one thing that's still out there for him that he wants to, check off his list before he gets out of here. Because, I mean, like you said, he's been in this game, not just necessarily the UFC game, or MMA game, but just fighting. Over 100+ fights. Like, he's been doing this for a while. Yeah. So he's also learned the pitfalls of not taking your opponent seriously. So that's why I think that he'll go in there focused and ready. And even though that's probably Sean's best path to victory is if Izzy takes him lightly or gets overconfident, I just don't see Izzy doing that.
In the fight itself, right? Like,
yeah, I can't see it. See it.
Now, he has gotten to his head a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But we did see him on Embedded, and he was out here with no Manny, no pearls, and in fact, had a nice little grill on. And I was like, okay. So Sean Strickland said one thing about his nails.
So maybe, he was like, forget that.
Maybe he's ready. He's getting ready to get him done in Australia.
I don't know. I mean, that's normally his thing, but it's fight week, so he might get it. He might get it, during fight week right now. So
yeah, I hope so. Don't let him take him out who you are, Izzy. Okay, do you? But we'll see. So I'm obviously my pick is going to be Izzy. I would not be surprised if Sean gets it done, though.
I would be very surprised if Sean gets it done. No shade on Sean, though. No shade on Sean. It's just he's fighting all time great. One of and by my estimation, he's the second best middleweight champion of all time behind Anderson Silva. I think that Sean he's just coming up in the wrong era. I think that if he were if Sean was fighting against Chris Weidman when Chris Weidman was champion, I would give him a better chance. But against Izzy, I don't see a solid path for victory. So got to go with Izzy.
Yeah.
I think it's easy pick.
I think I'm kind of done underestimating these situations myself after seeing like Alexa Grasso, things like that. So
yeah, true.
If it does happen, Sean isn't the adaptable fighter, so I want to see what he does with it after, if he does. So maybe low key, I'm kind of going for Sean a little bit on that side.
Yeah, no. Shout out to Sean for getting the title shot. Also, to Jared Cannonier for being the backup fighter. He's about to go down there, weigh in, and get paid. So that's cool.
Oh, fun. Well, good for him. He already fought Izzy, right? That didn't work out. Not too long ago.
It didn't work out.
Very technical fight.
It didn't.
I remember. I might have been making photos at the time. Like, that's how.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were doing. Yeah. It wasn't super exciting. Izzy he point fighted him and kept him at distance. And I think that he's going to do something similar here, but I think he's going to really try to get Sean out of there.
You think so? I was going to say, I think he learned from that. Like,
I think he will. I think he's going to try to get him out of there because Sean's going to. Yeah. I think Sean's going to give him an opportunity to.
Okay, I thought you meant Izzy's going to, point fight. I was like, I'm not sure about that. I don't expect that.
I think he's going to really press to get him out of there, get a finish.
How? Like, just a knockout? TKO?
TKO probably, but I don't think he's going to just flatline him. Man, third round. I think it'll be. I'm gonna say left high kick. Specific. You know why? But I'm gonna tell you why I left high kick, and it's because
of Sean's stance.
It's because
of
that. When he does that, I mean, I know I keep doing it because it's funny, but the way he leans back, yes, his left. The way he leans back, like Izzy's going to catch him with that. And it's instinctual for him because when he's fighting somebody who is not just a elite fighter, he is fast enough to get out of the way of those things, out of any sort of attacks. But when it comes to someone like Israel Adesanya, who is very good at setting up feints, or even Alex Pereira setting up, feinting and setting up his shots, setting traps, like that's not going to work against them. You got to come up with something different. But almost anybody else, you'll be okay. It's just you're fighting elite kickboxers. Best in the world. So they're not going to fall for that. And they're going to go through that little layer of defense with the hands that you think you have. It's just not going to work. Not against them.
Boy, everybody is shitting on Sean. It's bad.
I'm not shitting on him. It's really more of a
I can hear
acknowledging how great Izzy is.
Right? Is that how y'all see it? Okay. You got to watch Luke Thomas. I don't know who was had more self-constraint, in talking about Sean Strickland, Luke or Dan Hardy, but they both had similar points.
Dan was struggling. He was struggling. It's almost. It reminds me of when Habib would fight somebody who
was way beneath.
Their grappling wasn't what that is, and everybody was like, he's here, but and it's almost the same thing.
He showed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Sean's he's got a shot. He does have a shot. It's just it has to start with mental first, and then it can manifest into the physical. That's just how it's going to have to work for him in this.
Yeah. Also, depending on how the stars align, that's a big factor for sure.
He needs his chakras to be right. He needs to pray to all the gods, old and new. I don't know what else you could do. Like,
yeah.
But he needs to do all of it, whatever it is. But it'll be exciting. The press conference will be more exciting than the fight, I think. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. As Max would say, we'll see what happens. But also on the card, you got Tai Tuivasa against Alexander Volkov. And, we did a beautiful piece on Tai Tuivasa in YouTube Shorts. That's what you call it, right? A piece? We did a beautiful piece.
I don't know what these children call it. No idea.
Yeah. But what do you think? What are your thoughts going into this fight with Bam Bam and Alexander Volkov?
Oh, I'm worried about Bam Bam, but that's going to be my pick. I'm not confident about it, but he can get it done. It looks like he's taking his cardio more seriously, which I think could have been a downfall when he fought Cyril Gane. Cyril's got amazing footwork and cardio, and he can prance around for all 5 rounds if he wanted. So,
and he would.
I know he relies heavily on striking, and Volkov, dude, he's got so much experience. Do you know he's 36-10-0, and Tai is 5-5-0. So there's a lot of experience behind Alex. I'm still going. I'm going with my heart here. I'm picking Tai Tuivasa, but it's with a heavy heart.
It is with a heavy heart that we select Tai Tuivasa.
Good
I think that I obviously, I would be pulling with my heart for Bam Bam, but I think Volkov's going to get it this time. I think Volkov's going to get him. And it's unfortunate because it's going to put him on a 3-fight losing streak. That's not going to mean that he's going to get cut or anything like that because he's Tai Tuivasa.
Been there before.
And he's insanely popular. They're not. It's the same Derek Lewis thing. Like he's the new Derek Lewis for the heavyweight division. He ain't going nowhere. But when it comes to the fight itself, I think that Volkov will be able to keep him on the edge of his punches, move. You'll see, I think Bam Bam's going to probably take the center of the octagon and be the one pressuring. Very similar to what he did against Stefan Struve, who is 6'11", 7 feet. You know, Volkov is 6'7". He's shorter, but still pretty tall. There's a 5-inch height advantage for Volkov. And I think that Volkov has fought so many shorter people that he knows how to use it at this point. And he figures it out and pieces them up. Very similar to what Cyril did, where he just started sniping them. Now, Bam Bam does have a shot to end the fight at any point, the same way that Derek Lewis did to Volkov. Volkov was beating Derek Lewis for 2 rounds or 2.5 rounds, maybe even more than that. I don't know if it was a 5-round or 3-round, but he was beating him the majority of it. And Derek Lewis just hit him with a right hand and ended the night for him. And I think that Tai has that same ability, but I think that Volkov learned from it, and I don't think that he lets that happen. And he gets out of there. I don't think that he finishes Bam Bam, though. I think he pieces him up from the outside and just stays out of range.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's unfortunate.
From a
also
risk
with a heavy heart.
perspective. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that he wants to risk, trying to knock Tai Tuivasa out. I don't think that's his game plan going in because, you're at 5 right now. He's ranked number 5, closer to a title. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Awful idea. Don't get in there. Do not get in there. But
do it, Volkov. I think you should.
Reluctantly.
Because I think you can do it. Yeah, you should get in that pocket with Tai.
Don't fall for this false confidence. I have no confidence that you can do that in the pocket.
I think you'll do perfectly fine.
It was 0. Don't let, I think that Tai is going to try to push him up against the cage and just start to unload on him. He cannot be there. He cannot let that happen.
No, I think he should. I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, you would say that. So the third fight on the card was supposed to be another fight, and it's very disappointing. But just to touch on it for a second, Manel Kape was supposed to fight Kai Kara France. But Kai Kara France had a concussion in training, had to pull out of the fight. They brought in Felipe Dos Santos, who is undefeated, but he's fighting a top 10 fighter.
What happened during training that Kai Kara France got a concussion?
I don't know. I don't even know. But he is concussed. So
someone got fired.
He will not be fighting. Somebody lost their paycheck for sure. But Manel should breeze through this dude. And I don't know what he's going to do after this, but he's number 10 right now. I need him to be at number 5. He was about to get number 5 after he beat Kai Kara France, but that's not going to happen. So they're probably just going to rebook that fight later on if he wins this.
Wait, is Manel on your bingo card?
Absolutely he is. I said that he's going to be top 5 by the end of the year. And if he would have won this fight, he would be. But now that somebody that headbutted Kai Kara France in training, it's messed up my bingo card.
Oh, that's what happened. They headbutted him in training. Oh, okay, that could have been an accident.
Well, no, I'm assuming that happened. I don't know that happened. He could have.
Okay.
Slept walking to a door. I don't know what he did, but he was concussed. I know that. But
okay, cool. So
that one sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. It's weird that he's like, I don't know. What's he ranked? Is it 7? Manel Kape?
He's 10.
Oh, he's 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What is Kai then? Is he 5?
Let me see. Kai Kara France is 5. Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And he would have taken that number and it would have gave me a bingo. What do you call it? A square? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. He's, I've never heard of Manel Cape, or if I have, I don't remember him. I have no memories.
Well, he's not obviously not a big name. He does talk a lot of shit though, but he primarily was fighting on the undercard of like fight nights, but beating everybody, but just wasn't getting a lot of push. So I think that this was really like his moment, you know. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Nights. Oh, he fought Pantoja. I remember that.
Yeah, but I mean, how much did you know about Pantoja before he fought Moreno?
Probably about 0%. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get
exactly.
Trying to learn more.
Yeah.
But anyway,
of course.
So Felipe Dos Santos, who's this dude? Let's see.
This is his UFC debut.
Yeah.
So, he's
Brazilian.
I think he's undefeated 7-0. Yeah, Brazilian dude.
Let's see.
I honestly don't know a lot about him, considering the fact that he's making his debut. So
yeah, but normally they have information about the fighters. Like I don't really see anything about him anywhere. That's how much they think that he's going to win this fight. Like I'm gonna have to cast this net and like go into actual like Google search for him. I found a LinkedIn.
Dang, he's applying for jobs. It's crazy. Okay. He doesn't think that he's going to win. No, he.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tapology. All right, let's see.
Tapology is the best. He just fought on LFA, and everything else has been like Brazilian regional promotions. So
okay, that makes sense.
So literally not known in the States at this point. He can make a name for himself, if he does something exciting. But I don't know his fighting style necessarily. But that's probably a good assumption. Muay Thai and
I'm on UFC.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I would think. Are you looking at? I mean, he's got 3.
Okay, so did you find it?
Well, I was going to say he's got 3 subs and 2 knockouts. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Total fights, how many does he have?
7.
8, 7. Okay. Well. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
That's your guess is as good as mine. Analysis there.
I like these. I like these fighters that come in last minute, and it's kind of them taking their shot. I always want to see what they have. What their past experience is. So
they can upset the apple cart, as some people would say, when you have somebody that comes in like that, like Diego Lopez. You remember the one he had the Justin Bieber swoop?
Yeah.
He fought Mavzar Evloev and gave him a lot of trouble, And now Diego is, I think he's got a fight coming up. Like he's legit in the promotion. They appreciate that. Like when you come in like that, they show their loyalty back to you. So win or lose, Felipe Dos Santos is going to stay in the UFC unless he gets just murked. But I think that he'll get another fight. Like So
I like the Flowers guy. Yeah.
Exactly. He got another fight coming up. So it works. Yeah.
Anyway, so next is Justin Taffa and Austin Lane, who I did not know was a football player before.
I did. Austin Lane actually does have some really interesting physical attributes for the division as far as like his size, but Justin Taffa is just both of those Taffa boys, Justin and Junior. They hit hard, man. Like they different. Like when it comes to their punching power. I can't see Austin Lane making it out of the second round. Justin's going to catch him and he's going to sleep him.
Yeah,
it really is. It's really just a matter. It's just a matter of how much punishment can that man take. But I'm anxious to see Taffa get into the rankings. Like, who does he need to beat to get ranked? Because I mean, he's doing some pretty good work outside on the fringes. I mean, I would like to see him against, the dude that Derek Lewis just fought, Marcus Rogerio de Lima. Like, I would like to see Taffa against that if he wins, but he's got to get through Austin, and I think he will.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Who does he need to beat? I don't know. He's not ranked right now at all. So
Nope.
Or I know they still do like rankings after top 10.
Or after the top 15, yeah. They do some in some magical far off land. They do, but
I've seen
I think
them.
they're out there. But I think that Justin can beat, some of these people in the 13, 14, 15 range. If he wins, they got to give him something like that.
Yeah. Maybe.
He can.
Like, can he beat Rosenstruck?
I mean, yeah, but that's a more even contest than people might realize.
He's
Jairzinho
tough,
is a legit striker. He just ran up against a magical striker, a couple of magical strikers, and then some grapplers, and that's just not his thing, is grappling. So
yeah. Well, then going into the top 10, like, Derek Lewis, I mean, Almeida, I'm just curious, like, where do you think he is now? Can
Justin fight those guys? I honestly think that he can't. No, he can't beat anybody in top 10. I don't think.
Okay, so
including
more top
Derek.
15. Yeah,
top 15. Yeah. Now, like 11 through 15, I think that he can beat any of those guys. But we go top 10, like it's Derek Lewis, Jalton, Almeida, Sergey Spivak, Volkov, Tai Tuivasa. Like, nah, man, like that's not gonna happen for him. Not against those guys.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I do think that he's gonna win this fight, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's my pick too.
Yeah. So the last one on the main card.
Oh, he's not the last one on the main card? Oh, yeah.
No, there's one more. It's Tyson Pedro against Anton. How do you say his last name? You know how to say his last name?
Turkalj.
Sounds better than I was going to say. Yeah. Feel like chill out here. But I think that's it. I just call him Anton.
I know, right? I don't know. Anton is what it's going to be for now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the J silent. Who knows?
I don't know the inner workings, but
what are you thinking here?
Tyson Pedro is a very complete light heavyweight, super athletic, and he's part of CKB. He's been there for a little while, and I think that he's about to start his ascent. Between him and Carlos Olberg, who fights right before him, I think those two are going to start to move into the light heavyweight rankings, because the light heavyweight is kind of down as far as like just having top tier talent. Not to say that the top 15 is bad, but in relation to other years of top 15s, I think it's down. And I think that gives Carlos and Tyson an opportunity to sneak in there and start making their main name off of some of these folks.
Yeah, because not to mention, like, okay, well, Jamal and Yuri are out. I don't know what Magomed is doing. Pereira's just fought. Jan just fought. Alexander, I don't remember if he fought or is fighting soon, but pretty much, like, a lot of fighters up here are out on injury or just fought.
Yeah, Rakic is coming off of an injury.
Is Dominic Reyes retired, or is he still hanging around?
No, he's still out here, just sliding down the rankings. His last fight was against Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann knocked him out.
Okay. Yeah.
But I can see Tyson Pedro fighting somebody like Dustin Jacoby, Alonzo Menifield, somewhere like that, or even Dominic Reyes. I think if they were to be matched up, I'd favor Tyson Pedro. Dang. And that's number 13. I don't have high hopes for Dominic Reyes. He just hasn't looked like he did before.
Yeah.
So
he's just on a steady
I'm just kind of down on him. Yeah. I think that his next loss, he's going to call it a career.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, he lost.
That's also on my bingo card. Oh, him retiring? Yeah.
Oh,
it is.
Okay, yeah, because he lost against Ryan, Yuri, Jan, John Jones. I don't know if he lost to Chris Weidman. So, yeah.
No, he didn't.
Okay, so then 2, 3, 4 fight loss. It's not too hot. Yeah. That would have been a confident thing I would have put on my bingo card if I knew
He was undefeated and then 4 losses in a row.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
3 of them knockouts.
So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Like it doesn't.
It's like 7, 8 people in the top 15 that basically either they're injured or they just fought or they haven't fought in a really long time and nobody knows Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
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 So I can totally see Tyson Pedro climbing the ranks here.
And Carlos Ulberg. I think that both of them can sneak into the top 15.
Carlos Ulberg is a ginormous human being.
Yeah, he's one of Izzy's primary training partners. I would venture to say that probably sparring and working with him is what gave Izzy the confidence to move up to 205, to know that he could do it up there. Also fighting a monster in Alex Bejeda previously, I'm sure that helps. But Carlos, I think his nickname is Blackjack. Like, dude has future star. Like, it's there for him. He just has to get some wins and start to get people outside of Oceania to start to get on his bandwagon. But I think that, he's got, a couple of fighters, between Izzy and Volk, or 3, and Dan Hooker, who have big names that can really help to push that. He just has to get it done. And I think that he's definitely going to do it this time. I know we're just picking the main card, but I would pick him if he were on the main card. I think he probably should be on the main card. But I have high hopes for Carlos Ulberg in the light heavyweight division.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, he definitely looks like a star. And if this doesn't work out, he can go hang out with Luke down at Polo.
You have him, Luke, and Alan Joban. Like,
is his name really Joban? Because all I can think about is Paul Rudd talking about Joban.
It's Alan Joban, yeah. Joban, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, Jamie's on this card, but I didn't realize the Blood Diamond was going to be on this card. I missed his last fight, so
I'm looking forward to that too. He's had some unfortunate situations in his last few fights, but hopefully he's kind of fixed those things. It's when it comes to them, it's all defensive grappling. If they get in these bad situations, then that messes up the whole fight for them. And he's no different. But I think that he's worked on it a lot. So if it gets into being a striking match, he's going to chew through his opponent. But he just has to get it there.
Yeah, I'm excited about this card. I always feel like, recently. There's so many fights. But once it's like fight day, I start getting the butterflies and I'm excited and things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah,
what
for
about
sure.
you? You think, how do you
Definitely.
feel about this card?
This is, to me, this feels like a card where Izzy wanted to fight, and so they had to throw a card together to support the fact that he wanted to fight. That's what it feels like.
Shot
And
fired.
he just, it was almost like he was like, I want to fight, but let me ask anybody else in the gym who wants to fight. Hey, Carlos, you want to fight? He's like, yeah, I'll fight. Tyson, you want to fight? Yeah. Kai, you want to fight? My head hurts. I can't really. And I mean, he went around the gym and did that, and they threw the card together. That's what it feels like. But because his star power is so big at this point, and he has so much pull, and he's such an active champion, the UFC can't really be like, wait, you know, they're like, nah, we'll go down to Australia and get this money real quick. And that's kind of where it landed.
Yeah, I think so too. It looks like a good card to me. I was pretty surprised about UFC Paris, which we all thought was going to be a dud. So I don't know.
We did. But yeah, these are the cards where amazing things happen. People, make a name for themselves. There's been cards, previously, where there's been future stars on it, and they came out of nowhere and did magical things. So this could be the same thing. So I don't know, but we'll be watching. So another thing that came up. How did this even come up? When it comes to YouTube channels, how did this come up? How did this conversation even start? Do you remember?
Because I was talking about, Bam Bam having a YouTube channel and then going down, rabbit hole of, I think it was Izzy's brother that also has one, which is pretty good. So, yeah,
yeah,
that's
David,
how it started.
he runs Izzy's, and he does a really, really good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, that did make us start thinking about all the fighters, past and present, that have YouTube channels. And I thought it would be cool to rank the current UFC fighters, top 5 UFC fighters, YouTube channels. So I know that there's some honorable mentions that we ran up against. What did you see as far as honorable mentions?
So, okay, honorable mentions. So I'm going to start with BYM, Believe You Me, because that's the best one. So then we've got
Believe You Me, yeah. Now, the only reason that it didn't make it is because half of the podcast is by a former champion, so that I couldn't count that as a
active
current
fighters,
fighters.
podcast.
Yeah.
Another thing was you said, it didn't really start off with just Anthony. It was like Bisping, and then Anthony came after. But I feel like they need each other. I don't know. I feel like I'm not really watching something if one or the other isn't there. But I watch everything else.
Yeah. I mean, and I like Harrington a lot. I follow him on Twitter. He says some really funny stuff. But it's just when they're dynamic, just those two, with Anthony and and Michael. It's funny. I don't like calling him Michael. I do call him Bisping. But when they're there, it's just their chemistry is undeniable. So
yeah,
they do need each other when it comes to the pod.
Yeah.
What else you got?
So, all right. So we've got Dan Hardy.
Now, for me, Dan Hardy's the best. Yeah, I like Dan Hardy's the absolute best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's kind of, in my head, it's kind of competing with Mighty Mouse, because I'll go watch Dan Hardy and I can just tune in and I'm learning a shit ton. And Mighty Mouse is right behind him. And the only reason he hasn't taken over is because I only just learned about his podcast. So, but they're always giving
that's true. Yeah.
Just really, really good insight, because I mean, they still love it. They still love it. So.
Yeah. And another thing about Dan Hardy's is he has Veronica Hardy on it when they do picks and things like that. And that has actually served as something that we looked at when we were putting together our podcast. So definitely props to them for that.
Yeah. And then no knock on their segment together, but for me, it's really War Room. I love his breakdowns in War Room. I can sit through that, and I'm not gonna. It's not something I'll turn on, and it's like passively playing in the background. Like I'm turning it on, and I'm like really, really listening. So same thing with Mighty Mouse. Like they've got a bunch of different segments, and sometimes they pair up with people, but when they kind of zone in and focus on the fight itself, I really like those. But DC and RC.
Which we talked about that one in the last one, but I mean, yeah, they're really probably they probably get the. You think that they're the biggest? I mean, they got the ESPN thing behind them, so it's advertised on every event. Like
honestly, it depends on, I guess, how people watch like their UFC stuff. Mine was always through YouTube, so because they're with ESPN and I'm not subscribed to them, it just kind of never came to me, so I had to actively look for it. Are they the biggest, just in general, right? That's the question. Or the most popular? I don't know. I don't think I have a good gauge on that. I would say I actually like Chael probably has the biggest. I think it's the way he formats his podcast, where it's just like 5 minutes, 8 minutes, and it's like volume.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I think that they're the biggest only simply because of like the way that their reach is. Not necessarily because they're better, but because it's through ESPN. Yeah. Because it's being advertised so many places.
Like there is a slot. Okay,
they do.
Well then in that case, then
theirs is on TV.
Yeah. Then absolutely.
Theirs is on television.
But like on YouTube, would you say it's like Chael? Still don't know.
I mean, on YouTube, I mean, as far as like the most popular, I don't know. We'd have to look at the numbers, but I think Sean has a lot. Sean O'Malley has a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so you did say the most popular. So, okay, fair. And so then obviously Chael is part of honorable mentions, and so is Paddy Pimblett. I know he's still an active fighter. Just honorable mention because I just think he has a really good channel. I didn't even like Paddy. I didn't really know anything about him, and somehow I got stuck in a rabbit hole watching his videos. And he's super silly. He's crazy, but I think that he caters really well to like separate audiences through different videos. Like, I'm gonna eat 100 things right now in 2 minutes. Right, whatever. But then he has the video with the, I want to say it was, can't remember which branch of.
Oh, it was the Marines.
Military?
It was the Marines.
The Marines? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was the Marines.
So that video with the Marines was just really dope to see him in that space. So he can, he's just adaptable. That's for real. That's what it is. But you mentioned something
and also
about, like,
the videography there was good. Yeah. I was just saying the videography on that was really good too.
Yeah, it was really crisp. But yeah, so those are the honorable mentions. So do you want to give your top 5 active fighters favorite channels?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will start at 5. At number 5, I have person that we just talked about, the Sugar Show, Sugar Sean O'Malley, at number 5. Now, one thing that I would say about his podcast is or not necessarily his podcast, but just his content it's a variety of different things because he does gaming and he does his thing where he's at the desk with either him and his brother or him and Tim Welsh, his coach. And, they talk about fights and fighters, but they just don't break it down as strategically and as crisply as other channels. But I put him at number 5 because of his reach. He's got a massive reach as far as the amount of people sub to him and people that just overall want to hear what he has to say. So I got him at number 5. Number 4, I got Khamzat Chimaev. And I think that when it comes to the videography and how things look, his is probably the best. It's almost like they got a cinematographer to come and set up these shots and do these shots. They're all dramatic and like they're amazing. I got him in number 4 because of frequency. He doesn't put them out as much, but he probably can't if you're doing all that. So got him in number 4. At number 3, I have, this might surprise you, I have Michael Chandler at number 3. And you're not, so first of all, I like the fact that he set up an actual space for himself in his pool house, built it out, got professional equipment, got the angles right, got the lighting right. And he talks about things that he knows and he doesn't talk about things that he doesn't, which I can appreciate that. And he does it at a pretty good frequency. Like during the entire Ultimate Fighter series, he was still putting out content. He was still relevant, even though he hasn't fought in over a year. Not his fault. He's still been staying relevant to the people that are interested in what he has to say. So I got him at 3. At number 2, I got Alexander Volkanovski. So you made a remark to me, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. You said something about his cooking on the channel. And initially, I actually liked the cooking that he was doing. Now, I'm not, turning on Martha Stewart and watching the cooking show, but he actually did some interesting stuff. But then he transitioned the channel to be more about the fights and what he's doing to prepare or answering questions and then also giving picks. And I like the way that he breaks things down. I like the way that he talks about stuff and brings up stuff. But I like the way that he does it. It's really cool. Which of course that leaves number 1, Israel Adesanya. I think he has the best channel on YouTube when it comes to UFC fighters, current UFC fighters. And the reason why is a combination of all those things. He does his own fight picks. He does fight picks with David. David does a great job of organizing everything, getting good shots, good lighting. If things need to be a little bit more dramatic, he does that. They do great thumbnails. He does it all. And it's really more so David that I'm applauding than Izzy, because Izzy's the talent. David is the one behind the scenes actually making it go. So I got Israel Adesanya's Freestyle Bender channel at number 1. So what do you have?
Okay, so I think mine's actually going to surprise you.
Okay.
So I'll start at number 5 then. Mine is Jamal Hill, but I think he's there.
Sweet dreams.
Yeah. And I almost, well, I can't do that because he's not active anymore, but it's definitely fighting with, Rampage for sure. But yeah, it's just really new. I don't know. I think he's still trying to figure out what format he wants to do his in, but I'm definitely laughing when I'm watching Jamal. And I think that he's just a fighter that I can easily connect with just from a personality perspective. He's very relatable. So it's going to be hard for other YouTube channels to compete with that. When you connect with someone just from personality, that's tough. But number 4 is also Hamzat, literally for the same exact reasons, but also because it makes me laugh too. He's just a silly dude. So
He
silly.
is.
And his bromance.
I liked it. I liked when Darren Till was there. His bromance with Darren Till. I liked it when Darren was there.
He brought out someone a little different, you know, in Hamzat. So I liked it too. I also liked having the ability to prove some things, like why is he laying on the bed, you know, during the interview with Ariel Helwani. I'm like, I'm trying to tell you. But number 3, I've got Izzy, actually. Same thing.
Okay.
Like everything you said about David, but also I really like watching Izzy's reactions to the fights because it lets me know I'm not crazy, because I'm probably talking and reacting throughout the whole fight and you're fucking sitting there stoic as shit, not saying anything until you do. And I'm like, huh? What'd you say? So, but it's really, really cool to see their genuine reactions. And, you know, at least for now, Izzy doesn't hold back. He says what he says. So, it's good shit. I really like it. Also, you know, the different segments they have where you're learning more about Izzy. That's really cool because I think we're more or less like around the same age as him. So it's really nice just to kind of see what someone is doing to elevate themselves, or to work through maybe some mental issues, or just how they deal with, really, because he still has his own constraints too, right? Like fame, working with the UFC, blah, blah, blah. It's really interesting to see how he navigates those spaces. So I enjoy that. Number 2, I've got Volk. Same exact reason as you. When he did the cooking thing, it was cool. It was fun to see. But once he made the pivot and focused more on, you know, UFC or just MMA in general, I did prefer it because he breaks things down really well, much like Dan in Mighty Mouse, but he does it so fast and with less words and more or less says the same thing. But, you know, I guess I just kind of got stuck there. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but also always
you're talking about when
laughing.
it comes to Vulcan,
always laughing. I think that's going to be high. If I'm like laughing and cracking up, like, yeah, it's probably going to be on my top 5 for sure. And my number 1 is, I'm almost ashamed, is Henry Cejudo, because he's the only active fighter that gives like similar breakdowns. And he does not sugarcoat his opinions. I've seen him do it one time, ironically, with Aljamain Sterling. So he didn't want to say what he thought would happen because he didn't want it to impact, you know, anyone's game plan. So I was like, okay, Henry, you know, you're usually real childish, but he's taking the high road today. But he has some really good breakdowns. And just like Chandler, he set up the space for his podcast. So they're very similar in that they do things, they want to do them. They want to do them the right way. That's it. And it's gotta be clean. Right. Yeah. So he breaks it down. He's got his little, you know, Apple Pencil whiteboard situation in there. He's, you know, like he's presenting some kind of project. So, and I like when he comes back to say whether he was wrong or, you know, if he was right. And I like the format. Sometimes he's kind of, you know, has some interesting things to say. But other than that, really high IQ. I'm always learning.
I had him on my list. I had him on there. And remember, I changed something at the end, and I had to have Sean on the list somewhere. So I put him at 5. I initially had Henry at 4, but then I was like, but Hamzat's cinematography though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But he's actually putting out stuff a little bit more.
Yeah. But that's good. That's good. That's really what it is that it's not a lot of it, but I think that we have so much from all these other fighters that it's still okay. But I think other than the top 5, one that I know it'll probably make its way there is Max Holloway. Yeah, I think he'll make his way into my top 5. His is pretty cool.
I think so.
Wonder Boy, and then Robert Whittaker too.
Yeah. Rob is such a smart dude. I think that they mix a lot of the gaming with the fighting, and a lot of people aren't here for that. So that can throw people off a little bit. But
yeah, but I think
when he talks about
job at separating them now.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that may be was the only drawback, but he's such an intelligent dude. Even from his interviews, he's done numerous interviews on things like Submission Radio, on Weighing In, which is also on our podcast to watch list. Weighing In with Big John McCarthy and Josh Thompson. But yeah, Rob just gives really good interviews. He's really well spoken and super thoughtful. So, matter of fact, he has a show down there with Volkanovski that's on like their version of Fox Sports 1. So he's on TV.
What? Can we see this somewhere? Okay, I'm just gonna make a note of that because I definitely want to check that out. That's funny.
I don't know if you remember me saying something about like just their dynamic, just him and Volk, like they actually have pretty good chemistry. And it's kind of interesting for, one of Volk's good friends is Izzy, and, so he's just like, I'm friends with both of y'all. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
Check that out. So UFC Paris.
So I'll be honest, like
besides them having the best crowd, like what did you think about it?
They do have the best crowd, at least from what I've seen, and from what everybody's saying. Like I really would love for us if they have if they're going to have UFC Paris next year. Depending on when it is, like I would definitely love to go there. That would be cool. Either there or UFC London. One of those two. I think would be super cool to go to. But yeah, I mean, you headline with their best fighter in Cyril Gane, and he does what he did. Like you can't have a better night than that for UFC Paris.
And what did he do? He pranced his way. To coming back.
Yes.
So, well, I think we could stop there. So, Cyril Gane, TKO second round. Which this is your question. So I'm going to ask you your own question. When was, Sergey, when was he out of there? Like mentally, visually, you saw like which round was he like, I made a big mistake.
I think it was the first round, but it was when Cyril, he landed a knee up against the cage. And as soon as he landed that knee, you could see Sergey's face like, I think I fucked up.
Yeah.
And he did because first of all, before that, Sergey went for a takedown. Cyril stuffed it like a champ, easy.
Yeah.
And after that, Sergey was like, well, they told me that I was going to be able to take him down, and that didn't happen. So what do I do now? And you hear his coaches probably saying some shit in Russian, just keep running. But
just keep
couldn't
running.
get away from him. He couldn't get away from him. He just, the finish, oh my God. Like that was so brutal, which was amazing. Like the way that he was beating him like, Sergey stole his mama's purse or something. Like it was crazy.
from every angle too. Like it was kind of sad, actually. I think I would.
Oh,
I
and
probably had
then
a
your
face
favorite
like,
punch.
the super calculated. Let me pause and wait until I make sure, and then
If
just
you don't
drive it
get
in.
your goofy ass, and then he just hit him like.
Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. He was so patient. Initially, I wondered, is he just kind of a slow starter, Cyril Gane? But I think he's just patient until he needs to turn it on. He can turn it on whenever he wants to, is what I'm saying. But I think that is why he lost to John Jones so quickly. I think if John didn't catch him, we would have had a longer fight for sure. I would have liked to see, what happened there, because it's just John knew. He watches all this. He knows what his opponent's weak spots are. So starter,
True.
no problem. I got you.
True. Yeah, and that did make me wonder, like, ooh, John, if you didn't get him when you got him, what would have happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. But we'll never know. Thank goodness. Yeah. Like, John got out of there without him shit. But
yeah.
Yeah, so he did what he was supposed to do, and he did it in emphatic fashion. You got Tom Aspinall sitting in the crowd. Tom wants to fight, been talking about the fight. Cyril gets on the mic and doesn't really want to fight. So what do we do here?
I don't know that he specifically, I think he just said, dude, I'm on this path, and if you're on this path and we cross, we cross. If not, that's cool too. But I'm going where I'm going. That's what I got out of it. So I want to know what's next.
I don't think it was like a I'm scared situation, but he's just like, what the fuck? Unless you got a belt that's going to be, on the line, like, I'm trying to fight for the belt. Mm-hmm. That's what I kind of got from it a little bit, which I think is the same thing you're saying. Pretty much.
Yeah. He's going to fight whoever is, it don't matter. So, and I could see him getting there. I can also see the UFC trying to explore maybe something right before, but they're definitely not counting him out. Not after this performance.
Not after that. So what were you about to ask? You were about to ask something?
What the hell is Sergey supposed to do now?
Shoot.
Yeah, I guess we'll figure that out. We gotta do some research on that one.
I mean, that was a good effort. That was a good effort, Sergey. I think that Sergey is probably, he's coming off the win over Derek Lewis, right? So that boosted him, but he's going to have to fight somebody maybe that he's already fought. That's like, I'm looking around the top 10 here. I mean, it's looking thin for, like, all of those fighters are matched up or way above him. Mm-hmm. Like, you got Blades is at 5, and he's going to be fighting Almeida, so that takes away that one. Derek Lewis just fought, and Sergey just fought him, so they're not going to do that again. So he's going to have to fight somebody down towards the bottom of the top 15 in this next
should
fight.
You choose to fight, this year. So when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, what does he do now? So fighting down sounds about right, depending on kind of how it shakes out, I guess. At the end of this year.
Sure. Go ahead.
I was going to move on to Rose and, oh no, I had her name. Fiorot? Manon. I can't. It's going to go Manon, damn it.
I don't know. Manon, that sounds good. Fiorot. I think you could just say it real fast.
I still think this was a pretty good fight, even though, as I suspected, Rose was going to be trash. I'm just kidding.
I don't know why she be hating on you, Rose. She be hating on
Oh,
you.
no, we love you in this household, Rose, because you the best. You got it. All right, so 30, 27, 29, 28, 29, 28. So 30, 27, this is killing me. And I don't have a lot of time, but maybe we'll talk about this next time. This 30, 27 shit has been killing me, and I don't understand it. But my first question is, what would you have said if you were Pat in the situation where Rose is like, I broke my finger? I don't know why people are tripping on this, but what would you have said?
Well, so I would have asked. I was like, "Oh, okay. So your fingers hurt. Did you want to quit or like?" And of course, she's gonna say no. Like, okay, cool. So we're gonna have to get past that and see if the doctor can do something about it. Which they didn't address it. They just let her go right on out there. I would have seen if there was something that could be done about her hand, but
How do you
that's
feel about
really
what he
all
said,
you can
though?
say.
Like, yeah, like, do you think what he said was insensitive, or like, what did you think about that? Because
I mean,
people are tripping.
Like, what did he say? He said,
Okay,
you know, what did he say? Something about like your pinky doesn't. Yeah, I don't think that was insensitive. Like,
I don't either. Like, maybe it was.
I would have said that to my kids. I would have said that to my kids.
That's a really good point, because there's probably some parents that are like, I would never. But yeah, okay. I just saw a few things being posted about it, and I'm like, okay, I think y'all are on this "we hate Pat" train. Anything and everything he says and does is just going to get thrown into the pile, you know? Because I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but maybe it's also because she's a female too. Maybe, I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe just the way he said it.
I mean, I think if Trevor Whitman was there, that would have helped quite a bit in the fight. But she actually explained it later on that because of Justin Gaethje's fight in Salt Lake, Trevor's attention was there, and Rose didn't want to kind of. I think it was just something that they agreed upon prior to, so it wasn't, you know, like he was like, "Well, I'm not coming." Like, it wasn't like that. So, but I do think that if he was there,
so she didn't.
That would have helped.
She still trains with Trevor, right?
Yeah. It was just the timing was.
Yeah. Was okay. Well, either way, thought that was interesting that people were blowing up about that. But now just kind of jumping into the fight, like, do you think that Rose was, well, we know she was too small for Manon, but do you think that she wasted a lot of energy trying to take Manon down, or do you think like submission was her game plan?
I think it was her game plan was to mix it up, and whatever presented itself. But I don't think that she was too small per se. I think that from a size perspective, I think she'll be just fine in this division. But I think she ran into the bigger size of people in the division. Like, Manon cuts a lot of weight to get to this weight class. So I think that she just happened to fight one of the bigger girls in the weight class. And it's not like Manon's not ranked number 2 in the world, you know, like, she's ranked number 2 for a reason. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, Rose is trash. I'm not saying that you meant that a minute ago, but like, a lot of people are like, Rose is trash. It's like, no, she fought the number 2 girl in the division, broke her pinky, and still got through the fight, still catching her with her left hand when the other person knew that her right hand was compromised. Like, that's still pretty good. I think that she'll be fine in this division.
I just said she's too small for Manon. That shit wasn't going to work out for her no matter what she did. And the moment that she realized this bitch is big, I felt like she was wasting energy. That's going to take away from the only thing she has, in my opinion, which was her left, since she broke her pinky. But in this weight, like in this division, is she going to be fine? You know, yeah. But I think, was there anything that she could have done differently after realizing this is not going to work, but then keep doing it?
I think using her kicking game more. She
That's
didn't
very
use it
true. I
as
forgot. I don't remember seeing mini kicks actually.
she threw some out there, but she wasn't committing to using her kicking game, and I think that she should have used that more. I believe she comes from a Taekwondo background, so like kicking is like the major part of the offense, and she just wasn't using it. And I think that could have changed the fight a lot. But
I think so too. I forgot about that. That's a good point. But yeah, I don't think she did terrible, to be honest. I also don't think she won that fight, for the people out there who think she won that fight. I think she landed a few lefts, cool, but overall, no. Manon wasn't having any of that.
And I don't think that she would say that she won that fight.
And another thing, Rose fought with her compromised pinky, but that headbutt was super messed up. She bled immediately. And I'm sure her head was like thumping, just throbbing. And she fought through that shit. So Manon is also
That's true.
Definitely super tough. One thing, because I do have to run. So one thing about Manon is that obviously she's going to either fight Valentina or Alexa Grasso after this. And I'm not sure this. I don't know. I don't really know. She was, once you grind her down, I think she definitely forgets about her guard, and especially if she's trying to shoot for a takedown. And I think she's going to catch some inevitable elbows from like Valentina or maybe even Grasso. I don't know. But I would probably bet on Grasso or Valentina if Manon does fight, for sure.
I think it depends on who she fights. I think that if it's Valentina, I think Valentina would beat Manon from a strategic standpoint. If she fought Grasso, I would actually favor Manon for real.
So you think she's faster than Grasso? And
not necessarily. I think she's a better striker, but I don't think that Grasso can or will even really attempt to take her down. So it'll be a striking match, and I think that Manon
she'll take
just
that
a little bit better.
Shit, after what I saw, I would agree with that too. But definitely agree with Shevchenko. That's not going to work there. So.
I think Valentina will figure out from a strategic standpoint. I just don't know where Valentina is mentally now. Is she, when she saw Amanda walk out the door, she's like, "Damn, that's that big money fight. I might as well go ahead and go to." Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So Benoit Saint-Denis defeats Thiago Moises. Was it what was it? A stoppage, or what was it? You know what it is?
I'm sorry. I'm just kind of coming back from checking some stuff. TKO. Round 2.
Second round, yeah. So what did you think about Benoit Saint-Denis?
Oh my God, that fight was so amazing. I was really surprised at how my heart was racing during this fight, actually. Okay, let me try to think back, because I've got like a little blurb here, but I'm just trying to, what was my experience watching this fight and what my genuine thoughts were. I do remember thinking, I want to see both of them fight again. And I think Thiago Moises is like, even in that last round when he was against the cage, he was still super dangerous and throwing some insane, I don't know if they were hooks or overhands or whatever it was. He knew he was about to, get taken out, but he still fought to the end. Yeah. So that was really damn good. And they're so strong. Both of them are ridiculously strong. I don't know if I remember much more of that other than I can't wait to see either one of these two fight again.
Yeah, I think both of them fought well. I think that Thiago, he just got overwhelmed by the pressure of Benoit Saint-Denis. So it just, I don't know. The God of War, I call him the Viking. Like, it's just like he just keeps walking forward. And it reminds me of, like, you didn't watch the Vikings like that, but like on the show, when you see these legendary fighters in these war set pieces that they've set up, like they seem almost immortal. Like they're just walking through all this danger and don't care about nothing about except for the fact that they're going to get to you before you can do anything to them. And Benoit Saint Denis seems to fight like that, where people are throwing things and he's just like, nope, 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 nope. And then hits the person and you can visibly see that person's health meter start to go down. You're like, oh shit, he's falling apart.
Yeah.
And you could see that in Thiago Moises. Like every time Saint Denis hit him, you could see his little life force just dwindling down. And Thiago fought valiantly. But Saint Denis was just, he was going to win that fight one way or the other. It was going to happen. And I'm anxious to see what they do with him coming up. Yeah. I'm anxious to see what they do with him going forward, because there's so many fun fights at lightweight for him. One that I brought up when we were driving was him against Matt Frivola. Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely excited for that. That would be so dope.
That would be, or you know what would be an amazing fight is, and this is if the person that he fights is totally ready to go, mentally there, physically there, ready to go. Mm-hmm. But Benoit Saint Denis against Paul Felder, that would be a good fight.
Let me think about it, because now, unfortunately, when I think of Paul Felder, I'm thinking of the
the commentator.
Yeah, the little swiping action situation.
Oh, that wasn't Paul. That wasn't about Paul. That was about Sean.
I know it wasn't about Paul, but it just so happened to be brought up when we talked about it.
Oh, when we were talking about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I think that'd be a cool fight.
I don't know if Paul's interested in fighting up and comers like that, but it would be a fun fight for sure.
Yeah.
And it would hurt. It would hurt a lot.
So. I don't know, Paulie. I don't know. I wouldn't have. I
don't think he wants to do that. But
yeah, because
it would be an amazing fight.
He's what's his name? Well, I said I'm gonna call him BSD, and that's what we're gonna call him. But
yeah, he just looks like God of War is really good. Just because it really personifies his character, how he walks to the octagon, how he fights, like all of it.
Yeah.
Did he even smile afterwards? I don't even know if he did.
I don't remember. I know he did this.
I don't think he even has that setting. I don't think he smiled in his life.
Yeah, he's probably got that Pajeda thing going on.
Yep.
He just doesn't smile.
But yeah, that dude has a really, really bright future. At least from what I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah, I think that wraps up UFC Paris. But outside of that, was there anything else on our list of topics and things like that? I feel like that. I think we got everything.
I mean, yeah, that pretty much covers everything. I think we wanted to. Really, the only question that kind of came up that I thought was interesting was, I'm gonna mess up his first name, Anga Lusa. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I don't know. And Reese McKee was, which was a really good fight, by the way. But just noticing the level of experience, the difference between the two. And one thing that more experienced fighters tend to do is body shots to wear down, on their opponents. And that's something either one of them were doing to each other often enough. But why do you think like these less experienced fighters like really don't throw many body shots?
I
Other
think
than obviously they're going for the kill, right? They're trying to knock, people out starting out. But other than that,
I think it's just what you said. They are going for the kill, but it's not necessarily always going for the kill because they want to provide the best show. A lot of time, I think they're going for the kill because they're ready for this to be done. Because fighting it's fighting. It's war. Like, I think that if you are going for the head, you know that you can get the person out of there quicker. You don't think about the deposits that you make when you go to the body. And as you get further into your career, then you start to understand and buy into the concept of making those deposits, because you're fighting better fighters. So you got to find multiple ways to attack them. And you know that one shot kills are rare, the better the competition is. And so I think that both of them are probably going to start to invest in that sooner or later, especially Reese McKee. Like, you got, such a height advantage. Like, man, those teep kicks right up the middle, right into his stomach. Like, that would have taken somebody that is so heavily muscled as Lusa is. Anything that you can do to help with taking away or hurting that cardio, you do it.
Slowing them down.
So, yeah,
breaking.
Letting those muscles that require so much oxygen weigh on this person that they're going to need more oxygen. So now they're huffing and puffing. So, right, you got to use that against them, and I'm sure they will. But I think that the fight slows down, and you start to see the opportunities for these body shots come more often, the longer in the tooth you get in the game. That's just what I've seen.
You nailed it. There it is. I think I was listening to Rampage, and he had BJ Penn on there, which is a really good episode. But BJ Penn said something like, fighters are problem solvers, and they're solving hundreds of problems on the fly within, 15, 25 minutes or whatever. And I forgot about that. They definitely are doing that. And maybe, like you said, the fight starts to slow down for them, and they start to see the opportunities. And those opportunities are, I guess, if you were to translate, they're solving problems quicker as more experienced fighters. So I thought that was a pretty good question, actually.
For sure. Did you have another one?
I have. No, unless you want to explain to me why a rear naked choke is called a rear naked choke.
Oh, they were asking that. Well, simple. Obviously, rear. That's easy. That's the easy part. The naked part is there's no defense. So you're naked back there.
Do you know that I Googled that, and there were so many like questions, and no one could answer why the heck naked was a part of that? Because it's like supposedly a translation from Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like the practice itself. But rear naked choke is what it translated to, except the naked part. So that makes sense. Well, shit,
there's no defense back there.
Now you know. Because I sure didn't. My one of my colleagues was like, well, what's rear naked choke? I was like, I don't have any clue, actually. I know what it looks like. I couldn't tell you why it was called that. So interesting.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Cool. Well, okay. Well, that's all we have in that case. So episode 17 or 18 or whatever it is.
19, 20.
Got to get these numbers down for sure. But yeah, until next time, we'll holler at y'all.
Bye.